Hey, this is backyardsforbirds.com, and today what we are going to be doing is planting some Rocky Mountain bee plant. Now, a lot of people haven't heard of Rocky Mountain bee plant. It's a kind of a native plant out in parts of the western United States. And its real big benefit is it's a great late season pollinator plant for bees, butterflies, and even hummingbirds. I've taken some really good photographs of hummingbirds nectaring on the Rocky Mountain bee plant. So this year I was able to get some seeds for the Rocky Mountain bee plant, and I'm going to put it in this corner of my yard here, and hopefully we can get some of them to grow. They're very hardy. They take very little water. I've seen this plant grow out in the West Desert with literally almost no water, and I've seen people grow in their yards with lots of water. And if you use a lot of water and do it in that kind of environment, they can grow pretty big and kind of lush. The ones out in the desert, they only grow a few feet tall, and you can tell they're kind of struggling, but they still grow. They still produce their pink flowers and nectar, and they produce seeds that they drop every year. I guess they're technically considered an annual from what I've read, but they do reseed themselves every year by seeds. So it's kind of a great plant to have around if you like pollinators, which I do. And the reason I'm trying to put this in is so I could have some more late season pollinators for when the monarchs are migrating through and the painted ladies are migrating. I've got planning on having this and some Russian sage going on, and this Rocky Mountain bee plant should take off and should do really well if I can get the seeds to germinate. I haven't really tried this before here. I know it grows naturally kind of out where I live, so I'm hoping it'll take hold here where I'm planting it. And what I've got in here is just kind of I'm going to call it a patch of weeds, but they actually do have some hollyhocks in here, which I'm not exactly sure where they came from, but every year I get a good batch of hollyhocks in here, and I think that's some of the green sprouts already coming up, and I leave the hollyhocks going because from what I've also read, they are a host plant for the I believe it's the painted lady butterfly. So I let them be, and I'm just going to add in some seeds for the Rocky Mountain bee plant and hopefully have those two growing in here together. So, and then later this fall what I do is I'll come back, if they grow, I'll harvest the seed pods of the Rocky Mountain bee plant and plant some of them again, maybe somewhere else in my yard, and leave some of them to hopefully regenerate for this year. So, and the hollyhocks have been in here for as long as I can remember, maybe a dozen years or so. I can't even remember when I first saw them. So they've been regenerating themselves every year. So, but what I've got in here is just a little bit of dead grass. So I'm just going to rake some of that back, just put some of these seeds down and just kind of cover them back up again, so the sparrows don't get to them, because I've got a lot of sparrows in my yard. I kicked about 100 of them out of the brush pile behind me. So we're just going to do something simple, something natural, like what nature would do. The seeds just sit there, and hopefully they'll germinate. If they don't, they don't. That's the great thing about this kind of thing, is if they don't, there's very little effort involved. But if they do, there's a great benefit in getting some of these Rocky Mountain bee plants. Now, if they grow the way they should grow, they usually grow to be about maybe 4 feet tall, 5 feet tall at times, depending how much water they get. This area here, I really don't water, so it's just whatever naturally is going to be. There is an irrigation ditch right there beyond that fence, so it does get some seepage into the ground from when they irrigate the field. So it does get a little underground moisture that way. So we'll see what happens. First, we just got to hope for them germinating and start sprouting, and after that I think we'll have success. So anyway, what I'm going to do is just uncover just a few spots of that, sprinkle the seeds in, and then cover it back up, and then we're good to go and see what happens this year. All right, that should be it. It's that simple. So what we'll do is we'll come back later this year, the spring and summer, and see if we've got some of these seeds sprouting. And if they do, we'll show you what it looks like. Now these seeds I've had outside kind of cold stratifying all winter, and I think that's part of the natural process they need to go through. So hopefully that'll help. So hopefully that'll cause them to feel the warm sun and the warm earth, and that kind of cold stratifying, I think, kind of signals that it's time to sprout. So we'll see. I'm not an expert gardener, never claimed to be, never will claim to be, but I do enjoy what little I can do and what little I know, especially because of the benefit it gives to birds and butterflies and bees. So I'll never claim to be an expert gardener by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just something I like to do and something I like to use to benefit kind of the natural world around here in my yard. So let's give it a few months and we will come back and see what happens. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow us at backyardsforbirds.com, and we will catch you on the next video.